Yeah.
So my name is Dara. So how are you doing? You said you're out of Lagos. Is it for a work thing or?
Yeah, I had to come and close some partnerships we had pending.
Oh, so that's a work thing for MyStash then.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a work thing.
Tell me a little about MyStash. What you do? I know it's like a savings platform, but is it a full-blown fintech or is strictly just for saving?
That's interesting. What's the difference between a full-blown fintech and strictly for saving?
Okay, so we'll go with fintech then. Like we can do things with the airtime, utilities, and all that.
Oh, okay.
Same thing
Okay.
with the banks.
Okay, I see where you're coming from. It's a personal finance management platform. So it's not just savings, savings, investments, being able to budget, being able to manage all your accounts in one place. So, I mean, we don't do ATMs and utilities, but we're creating a platform where individuals can have a 360 view of their finances and manage it from one platform.
So that's good to hear. And congratulations on receiving the WA4 grant.
Thank you.
What was that like for you?
It was exciting. I think the process was even more exciting. The interview, where I spoke to when we're speaking on stage and seeing how excited the person that was interviewing was about the product, and it quickly turned the conversation from an interview to sharing your dreams and your visions, the bigger picture of MyStash. She was so excited about it. She just thought, she doesn't live in Nigeria, but she just thought, this is something you should definitely share with, all of Africa. And so that's excitement of not even having to speak much before she could clearly see where we're heading with MyStash was really exciting. So, I mean, when we got the congratulatory email, I was happy, but I mean, from how the interview went, it was, I mean, we kind of knew that, okay, yes, we're onto a good thing here. Yeah.
When did the journey for MyStash start? You said August. Was that last year?
Yes, August of 2021.
Oh, all right.
So yeah, but like I said, we had started working on the idea in March, doing the research and just understanding how we could implement it the best ways possible and all of that.
So what difference does MyStash offer compared to other platforms that also offer the personal finance or savings feature?
So the difference between MyStash and other saving platforms is that we provide a minimum of a 20% more efficient way to save. How so? Because we have the lifestyle-based saving, which is basically allowing you to save as you spend or save as you earn. So you don't have to think about it. You don't have to be more disciplined. For every, depending on what you set up, for every maybe 1,000 naira that you spend, you automatically save 100 naira. Or for every 10,000 naira that you earn, you automatically save 1,000. So that way you don't really have to, shuffle your life choices. Just keep living your lifestyle, just keep being Dara, and MyStash should do the work for you of saving. So that's one. Secondly, another thing that we do differently is being able to allow you a lot more control over your mandates. That's what we call it over here. We call them money moves, actually. So when you create a money move on MyStash, so if you sign up, you create a money move, you pick how you want to save. Either you save as you earn or you save as you spend, or both. You save as you earn and spend. So every time money comes in or money goes out, you're saving. Once you pick that, you pick the percentage. So it can be as low as 1%, it can be as high as 20, or whatever floats your boat, really. Now, being able to do that will also allow you to have exemptions, to be able to say, okay, I don't want to save on things that are maybe higher than 500k, because you understand that perhaps you have to pay rent or pay school fees, or maybe transfer a large amount of money that's not necessarily your day-to-day transactions. So we do that. You can post a mandate and say, okay, for the next 24 hours, I'm going to maybe be helping somebody send money to somebody, so I don't want to save on anything. And you can actually just say that for my transactions today, this particular, or maybe I sent money to Dara, and this money was money that she kept in my stead. So let me just exempt that particular one. So it's a lot more flexibility than any other platform has in managing how you save, when you want to save, what you don't want to save on, and things like that. And we have like very interesting other product features that we're building out that will be launched, soon. Yep.
All right. So is this available only on web? I tried looking for an app, but I didn't quite. Just on web for now.
For now, yes, but the app should be ready by Q2 of this year. We're currently testing.
All right then. So let's talk about you. Yeah, a TEF alumni. What's that like? I know that to be eligible for the grant, you have to be a TEF alumni. So what was that like for you also? I'm sure you learned something during that time.
It was very interesting. For me, during my time as a TF, what's it called now? I don't know. It's an Ilumelu entrepreneur. I think for me it was the network of the people. So we were learning a lot. We had a lot of classes on different things, and we have like the self-paced classes. But then something that helped was the Abuja hub created like a small community for ourselves. We weren't a lot, but then I think that also created an intimate space to grow. So we had different entrepreneurs with different strengths. So some people had been entrepreneurs for 6 years, 5 years, who were fresh out of the water. So, and we made it a point to meet bi-weekly. So we had physical meetings bi-weekly. So that really helped in like building solid networks. I'm still like friends with a couple of people from that network, and it just helps with you hear a lot of people say that the journey in entrepreneurship is lonely, and maybe people can't really understand, the struggles you're going through. But I mean, with this network of people that I was able to meet early on in my journey, it's made things, a bit easier, because then just when you feel like, okay, I'm going through this, or I'm thinking of a new strategy for maybe marketing or growth, and then somebody says, okay, I've done something like this before, I think can be helpful, or I know this person, or there's this book you can read. So for me, my biggest, win from that experience is definitely the people I met.
All right. For MyStash, are you like the only founder, or there are other people working with you that identify as founders?
Oh, we're a team of 4 co-founders, 50 male and female, so 2 males, 2 females. So yeah, 4 co-founders.
Okay, you mentioned the entrepreneurship journey. How's that been for you? Do you find it lonely?
Interestingly not. I don't find it lonely. Both my parents are entrepreneurs, and I mean, I've grown up seeing them work for themselves and just kind of fashion out a path for themselves. And, with the kind of people I've just been exposed to, uncles, family, friends, aunties, all of that. So, I mean, for me, I think it's a privilege to have people who I'm close to, who have like so many years of experience under their belt, and who can just say, oh, okay, I mean, yes, in my time, maybe it wasn't this easy, because now you have social media, marketing is easier and all of that, but then it just helps. And it's also reassuring to know that, there'll be ups and downs, but if you're focused and diligent in what you're doing, you will make progress. So I wouldn't exactly say it has been lonely. I think I've just been privileged to have access to the right people at the right time.
So what was growing up like for you?
Hey, could you narrow that down?
Okay, just tell me about growing up, yourself, anything.
I grew up in Abuja. I was born in Enugu, but I grew up in Abuja. What was growing up like? That's a different. I feel like I have to unpack this in my head first. My mom's a fashion designer, my grandmom too. So I grew up a lot around, clothes and fashion, and women, a lot of women, and she also studied banking and finance. I remember my mom going to university at some point. She'll be teaching her colleagues before exams and stuff like that. So it just made me feel like, My mom is really smart. And growing up initially, I really didn't like math. I don't know why. But then I had this lesson teacher who would always tell me, if you don't do well at math, you'll never be a big woman like your mom. So that was my only, I mean, it's funny now, but then that was just like the only motivation for me to like take math seriously. But then that was primary school, but as I went to secondary school, it was like, became like one of my best courses. But yeah, so I think, growing up, one very solid foundation I've had is, my relationship with my mom, and by extension, her friends and the network of women she has been privileged to have access to through the work that she does. Just learning from, people that have had 20 years banking experience. And so that really was helpful in creating a fintech, because I could just, pick up the phone and say, oh, mommy, please, I need someone to advise me on this, and then she's like, okay, let's connect you to this person and that person. This person has worked here for this years and all of that. So that's why I always say that it's just been a privilege, really, because, what are the odds that, I have access to the right people at the right time. So, yeah. But aside that, I think as a child, I've always been dabbling in one, I won't call it business, but say one act of trade or the other. I'm always selling something or, doing something to make money. I know at a very early age in primary school, my parents, I guess they were trying to make us understand the value of money. So there was a point where when you come back for holidays, for every chore that you do, you get paid. I think it was like 100 naira or 50 naira or so. Wow. And exactly. So the house was spotless because everybody was just struggling to sweep and clean. Like it was funny because then you would sweep and you want mom to see that you have swept, so that half 100 naira for sweeping. But then somebody would purposely go and put like biscuits on the floor so that they can sweep again and half 100 naira. So it was, that period, the house was spotless, like, because we all used to fight for, like, not fight, but like, yeah, it was always be the best person to do chore and get paid. And then at the end of the holiday, you would leave a count on how you spend that money, how much you saved. If your account was the most prudent, they would double your savings. So that was very exciting. Exactly. I know my mom still does that for my little sister who is in university now. Like, if you're able to save, she'll give you a target. If you're able to save to that, and you see that your financial expenses have been prudent, then she'll match it up, right? So I think for me, that was my earliest introduction to being able to manage money properly, and then understanding that I could actually do something and get paid for it. So that started in primary school, and I just kept on looking for ways to make money, just selling little things. I sometimes I sell sweets. I started doing cakes and pastries, stuff like that, and just making sure that every income I get, I've earmarked a particular percentage for savings, and savings that is realistic, so that I'm not like saving, but then I'm choked and I'm broke, but then I'm saving. Yeah, so yeah, I think that's about it.
So would you say that your upbringing influenced the choice of startup that you launched?
I think my upbringing impacted or influenced greatly the way I think about opportunities and placing value on the work that I do. I never set out to, create a savings platform. But, when I think about it, I look back and I see that in secondary school, I used to save for people. So we had this thing called the purchase check. So it's funny, right? Because it seems like different points of my life have actually been leading to this point. But I would never say that I actually started, but one day I'm going to found it or something. But in secondary school, we had, I went to Faith Academy, Hinala and Otta. So we had this thing called purchase check. So they were like paper naira. And then we had everybody, I was given a set sum. I think when I started there, it was 700 a month. And then before I graduated, it was increased like 1,200 a month. So you have that a month. And then some people will come and say, okay, keep it for me. Just maybe give me every Sunday, bring out offering for me. And then, that basically just managing how they save money. So I had a lot of that. I was like a mini bank. There are a few of us that people would say, okay, help me manage my money, help me save. Just bring out maybe my offering, and then from time to time, money for like lunch and snacks, stuff like that. So I did that in secondary school. In 2020, I had just put on my Instagram randomly that who wants to be part of a personal like finance accountability group just to help you save better, and a few people indicated interest, and I just did that, just helping people to say, okay, this week we have a savings challenge, try and save 20K. If from your salary you can't do it, then find something you can do, freelance or something, get somebody to pay you for a service, any which way, legal way, make 20K and save it. So I've done, bits and pieces of helping people put their finances together here and there. So, I mean, to directly answer your question, no, I have never thought of opening a savings platform or a fintech. But then when I look back, I can then see that in some way I have actually helped people to be better with their finances.
All right, that's good. So how did your journey into tech start?
I studied management information systems from University in Ghana. That course is very well-rounded because it was literally me taking courses with business administration students and computer science students. So it was loaded, it was fully rounded. You'd learn how to, manage a business from accounting, operations, supply chain. And then from the CS side, you learn different programming languages, Python, Java, PHP, C++, all of that. So I think that gave me a very solid foundation into tech, and then being able to actually program and code. Do I do that today? No, I don't. But I do have a fair understanding.
Having the understanding must have helped somehow.
Exactly. I mean, now when I say that, people ask me, so what language do you code? And I'm like, I don't do that. I don't do that. I think I was more fascinated by, businesses and consulting. Actually, my first job out of school was consulting. I worked in a management consulting firm, and that was just great because for me it was like, looking at people's businesses from an objective point of view, doing a needs assessment and saying, okay, this is where we think you can do things better. And then my greatest joy in that space would be, the research you've done and the ideas that you're recommending when they're being implemented, and the person comes back to say, oh, we've actually seen maybe a 20% increase in revenue, or we've actually seen a 40% reduce in cost. So it makes me feel like you're doing something, like you're actually making impact on businesses. So my first job right out of school was consulting, and I kind of continued down that path. I worked in different firms, but then in roles that were more skewed towards management, business development, strategy, stuff like that. Yeah.
All right, that's great. Speaking of the grants, I'm just going to take it back to the grants. What do you hope to achieve with what you've been given?
Awesome. So we're going to be investing that in the products, right? So we have over 5,000 users now. So we know that people like our products. We know that people enjoy, people need it. But then we need to be able to create a product that has less, less fault. So a seamless product, right? So that's the goal. So with the money, that's going to be able to help us to, expand our engineering team, and then ensure that the product is top notch, really has, less bugs, is very efficient. Yeah.
How's the program been so far? I know it's still in progress, right? Yeah, so
yes, it is very interesting. The classes are very relatable, and some of the classes that have been my favorites, they've been very actionable. So, we teach you about this particular topic, we give you examples, and then we give you templates, action points, like things that, if you implement today, you start seeing results. And some of them I've actually implemented and I'm already seeing results. So for me, that's like a game changer. A lot of times we get into that, what's it called now? That hole where we learn so much, but we never actually have time to implement. But then being in the program where they've given you everything you need to implement, all you have to do is just do, and especially when you have a team where you can now share that with, so all the burden of execution is not completely on you. You share that with your team, and everybody takes bits and pieces that best align with their skills. So that has been very, very helpful, and we're already seeing results from things that we're learning from the program.
That's great. Then, how did you meet your co-founders?
We all went to a postgraduate diploma in Nigeria. It's a new school. It's called Nigerian University of Technology and Management. It's an awesome program. And founded by, some of Nigeria's best technocrats, like of some Dr. Mobola Johnson, Dr. Kenelema. They founded the school. We met we met at the school, or rather we met before the school commenced, because we already had a platform where all of us were. And then we had already started talking about business ideas, right? So we formed a group where we were talking about business ideas. We actually applied for one of those global competitions of business idea we had. But then in trying to reform that business idea, make it more precise, going down to narrow it down to who's our target audience, who are creating our user stories. That's when we realized that at the end of the day, how are people going to afford this and afford this consistently? And that was how we just went into this, rabbit hole of why do people don't manage money properly? Why is money still a taboo in Nigeria? Why do people speak about money with hushed tones, and all of that? And then how can we make money management easier? How can we make saving easier? Why can't there be a way where I don't have to think about it? Can somebody do this for me so that I don't have to, actively contemplate, should I buy Ashwebi or should I save my money? Do you get? And so that was really how, we got the MyStash idea. Yeah.
So you mentioned you not coding. Why don't you code? Just out of curiosity.
There isn't an explicit reason, really. Like the management consulting side of things, or just being able to help businesses improve. I'm typically always bursting with ideas on how to do things better, how to make processes more efficient, And that was just for me at the time when I left school, and as that I was just looking at it, I just thought that this is where my skills will be most valued, and then I went into consulting, yeah.
All right, because usually there's this kind of small circle of women coders. People are trying to open up the space anyway, so that's good then. What would you say, what do you think about women in the tech industry?
I think it's an interesting time to be alive. I think it's an interesting time to be a woman. I think it's an interesting time to be a woman in tech. There's so many opportunities for women right now in tech, data, engineering, and it's just exciting to see. I think that, yes, in the beginning, there were stereotypes that always difficult, and women shouldn't do difficult things, or stereotypes like, having a career path where you're not invested in your career, what's going to happen to family and marriage and all of that. But for me, the game changer in all of this, having opportunities and all of that, is seeing women who are doing it and are succeeding at it. Having success stories to look up to and say, if this person is doing this. And for me, it's like the people that are doing well, they have diverse backgrounds. So you can't say, because this person came from a rich family, that's why this person is crushing as a woman in tech. We have those that came from, rich families. We have those that came from, other backgrounds, right? And then we're seeing them crushing those that schooled abroad. I heard somebody say, because she went abroad to school. No, we have people that schooled here in Nigeria, had never crossed the shores of the country, but are killing it, in the industry. So for me, that's the game changer, having success stories that are not even just, present, but also being shared. So, and then you just being able to see people that look like you doing what you really want to do. So you see that you're inspired, and then you look around and you see opportunities so that you can plug into their scholarships. It's just a beautiful time to be a woman. I always tell people, it's a beautiful time to be a woman right now.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Onyinye. If I have any further questions, I will be sure to send you an email or any other thing.
Let me just in the chat box, you can just send me a WhatsApp or call me.
All right. I think you attached it to a mail one time, but just send it now. I think you attached your number to a mail one time. All right.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day.